So he's really played into that persona of himself, this kind of over the top Drake meme persona. Um, and yeah, that's probably really helped his popularity, and it's obviously helped him sell a lot of records. So, like he said, he must be doing something right, like he said in his Billboard Awards acceptance speech. So, this King of Spades card shows that he's really willing to make these sacrifices in order to be the best. And so, he's very much driven to be self motivating himself, trying to stay relevant and on top of his career, at the top of the charts, and really be the best rapper in the business because that's always Pluto's motivation. And his Pluto and Drake's spread is the purpose of Pluto in anyone's spread, is that Pluto, as you can see, Pluto for Drake, it's in his King of Spades card. And this is his actual Pluto card down here. The purpose of Pluto in anyone's birth spread is basically that it's going to take things away, and Pluto likes to destroy things. So that part of us that's attached to those things, mainly, our ego and our dignity, also gets destroyed along with it. But in Drake's case, we know in the end, even though he kind of gets made fun of a lot for his image, but he's obviously laughing all the way to the bank, so it doesn't really affect him very much in the long run. Because, yeah, he has this King of Spades in his Mars card, and the King of Spades also has this amazing ability, this amazing capacity for survival and good judgment. The spade suit in general, it's always very self-centered, which means their life so much revolves around their own power, their own will, their own strength, rather than that of others. So the King of Spades is the final king who sits at the top, who makes the biggest decisions, all based on his own abilities, calling his own shots, and making his own decisions by himself, essentially. So he's in complete control of his destiny. And it's really the card of independent management, as I mentioned earlier, in that regard. So when it comes to Drake's career and making music, he's really training to write that perfect song, and create that perfect album constantly. That's always his focus. But then as soon as he reaches that perfection, he's on to the next project right away. Or he's on to the next, musical collaboration, whatever it may be, because kings are always working towards having perfect moments with whatever area of life they happen to be focused on. And quality is very much emphasized over quantity when there's a king involved in someone's spread. The king's job is to make many small sacrifices. And so the King of Spades in Drake's case is going to do it for his work. People with strong spades in their spread, as Drake has, he has a lot of planets in his spades cards, and it's a really heavily spadey birth spread. People who have strong spades in their spread, they have this work ethic to really dig deep and get better at something over the long term, and to really stick to something. So that can be things like that they're dedicating all of their time towards perfecting. So in Drake's case, he dedicates a lot of his time towards perfecting and putting out albums. Another thing that this card shows is that Drake is also probably very generous with his wealth, especially towards his loved ones, because he has this fourth house cusp in this card. And the fourth cusp has to do with our whole family. So our extended family, our aunts, cousins, relatives, our ancestors, and all that kind of thing. Aunts, cousins, uncles, all that kind of stuff. The spades and club suits are very giving suits in general, both of these suits. And spades will often give to people out of self-sacrifice or like as self-abnegation. However, in Drake's case, I don't think that's really his primary motivation, because Pluto is in this card as well, as I mentioned, and so is the planet Rahu, which is referred to in Western astrology as the north node of the moon. So what that shows is that he's most likely not doing it for entirely unselfish reasons, because these planets, Pluto especially, have to do with our egos. And of course, the King of Spades is a very self-focused, self-centered card, and as are all spades, really. So another combination that he has that's really prominent is his sun, the planet Sun, in the same card as his Rahu, or his north node of the moon. So when the Sun and Rahu are aspecting each other, or they're conjunct in someone's birth spread, it can make a person seem really masculine and alluring to others, and it can magnify the person's aura and make the people that surround them really want to follow this person and put this person up on a pedestal and make them their leader. And then so the person who has this Sun-Rahu conjunction or aspect, they can begin to really feel like they're the center of the universe, or they can really project center of the universe energy, which is very much tied into this egocentric Pluto energy as well. And all these strong influences on this King of Spades card, including the ninth house cusp, which has to do with our belief systems, religion, what we really believe in. It can kind of give someone like Drake, who has all these strong planetary influences in this card, it can kind of give them a god complex, essentially. And of course, you know, we all know that one of the monikers that Drake goes by is Six God. So this is really shown here by all these planets influencing his King of Spades card. His King of Spades Mars card. So some of the songs that really embody this King of Spades energy that I recommend of Drake's would be obviously his song Six God, Legend, and God's Plan. Another aspect that he has in this card is that Rahu is also conjoined Venus. When Rahu and Venus make an aspect in a person's chart, like if they're in a conjunction, if they're conjunct each other in the same sign, or if they're making a planetary aspect towards one another, or what's called a Rashi aspect in Vedic astrology, they can make the person who has this aspect in their chart, it can make them really prone to fantasies when it comes to love. And so someone who has this kind of aspect, like someone like Drake, could meet a woman in just like a chance encounter or in a really insignificant way, but then in his mind he can have the tendency to really build that relationship up to a much deeper connection than it actually was to the other person. So, you know, he can have this tendency to fantasize and make that person his whole world. And then the other person really, wants nothing to do with this person or doesn't see this person in that light at all. It's like there can be this huge imbalance that way when it comes to like infatuation. And that's because Rahu can be very obsessive, the planet Rahu, the north node of the moon, and it has an expansive quality to it. And Venus has to do with love and partnerships. So having this aspect in your chart can be more of a painful aspect to have, because it makes you prone to fantasy, and like you can get your heart broken really easily thinking that someone that you really care about or someone that you believe that you have this strong connection with doesn't even exist. And they don't think of you like that at all. So a good example with Drake in his music would be his song Teenage Fever, which is actually rumored to be about an encounter / date with J-Lo. I believe the story is that he hung out with her in a club or something, or like ran into her at a club. I'm not sure of the full details, but that's kind of what's the rumor as to what his song Teenage Fever is all about. And it really does talk about that kind of fantasy that can be built up when you have this fantasy around love, when you have this Rahu Venus conjunction or aspect in your chart. So the next card I'm going to talk about with Drake is his moon card, which is the Eight of Diamonds. And as I mentioned earlier, Drake has a really strong moon card because his moon is in the sign of Cancer and its own sign. So he has a secure moon, as you can see in the fulfillment strengths of his planets. And one of the nicer things about his birth spread is that he has this really nice moon card. And it's a manifesting card, again, because his moon is in its own sign of Cancer. And as I mentioned before, when the ruler of a card is in its own card, it really helps to manifest and protect and really reinforce that card. And so it makes it an extremely powerful card when it comes to manifestation in this person's life. So the Eight of Diamonds, it's a particularly nice moon card because it's an even numbered card and an even numbered card placement. So it's the second card and it has an 8 in it, which really helps. And the Eight of Diamonds in particular is a nice card because it represents lucky breaks. And the red cards in the 52 card playing deck, all of the red card suits represent feminine energy, meaning we don't have to work as hard to get the rewards of these suits. They kind of just flow to us if we have the right attitude. Whereas the black card suits, you really have to put the effort in and work really hard for them because it's more of the masculine energy. So yeah, he has this Eight of Diamonds here in his moon card, and it just flows to him because his card is unafflicted. It has the moon there reinforcing the card. And the diamond suit represents skills, talents, and opportunities for concrete value and wealth. And this 12th house cusp is actually considered one of the hidden houses in Vedic astrology. So what this shows is that Drake probably has a lot of hidden talents and skills that no one really knows about, that probably he's able to do behind the scenes in his career that has really helped him achieve the levels of success that he has. Like, he probably has a lot of hidden resources, skills, talents, things like that that really help him get ahead. So that's important to keep in mind. And that's because the moon card shows the resources that we're able to attract in life. And the 12th house cusp, again, which is conjoined this card, it can represent expenses and losses as well. So this card shows that although Drake will be spending a lot and he's going to blow through a lot of money, because, this is the card of resources flowing to you, wealth flowing to you. He's always, getting lucky breaks with your wealth and things just happening because you're in the right place at the right time. He's always going to have the resources to live within his means, even though he's a big spender. And he most likely won't feel financial losses as much as if he had a more afflicted moon card. Like if he had like Saturn and Rahu in this card as well, and Mars and some of the malefic planets, that's when he would have more trouble financially. That would show. But his moon card is unafflicted. And another important thing that the 12th house shows is the results of your enemy's actions. So if you were in a court case, the 12th house would show the results of what the enemy gets away with through the court case. And so we know that Drake has a fairly nice 12th house because, again, it's conjoined this really nice moon card. So this shows that when it comes to legal matters, he's going to experience a lot of lucky breaks because that's what the 8 of diamonds represents. And so a lot of, even if he does have particularly more legal battles than most people because of the nature of his career and being a celebrity and a famous person, most of the legal matters and cases that he's involved with will probably go in his favor. And although his assets and financial resources will most likely take a hit, his reputation will generally go unscathed because of this really nice moon card. It's not gonna be too upsetting to his reputation. And he definitely won't go into like financial ruin or anything like that. So yeah, this is going to be the end of the reading. There's obviously a lot more to say because each of these cards are just there's so much detail and intricacies that you can get out of each of the cards, but this is a really long reading already, so I'm going to stop it here. Yeah, but really I could talk about his spread all day. I just love getting into the details of people's charts. But yeah, my goal with sharing this reading ultimately was to demonstrate my method of astrology and card readings. So as you can see, my readings are pretty detailed. They're really in depth. And yeah, this is how I do all my client readings. So I really hope that you enjoyed this Drake birth card reading. And if you liked it and you're interested in purchasing a reading with me, you can visit my website at www.caseyastrology.com and check out my services page there to book a reading with me. So thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, go ahead and let me know in the comments below what you think about Drake. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. My name is Casey Astrology. Take care. Bye.